She told me I'd never be husband material and walked out like I meant nothing. 3 years later, she saw me on TikTok and reached out, so I made her cry in the same cafe where she ended it all. My name is Henry, and if you had known me 3 years ago, you might have said I was the definition of a safe bet. The reliable one, the guy who never forgot birthdays, who always showed up on time, who listened when others didn't, and who believed, maybe a little too deeply, that love was earned through kindness, consistency, and patience. I was the kind of man who thought that if you gave someone your heart and treated them right, they'd see your worth and stay. But life, real, cold, unforgiving life, has a way of teaching you that being good doesn't always get you good in return. Sometimes, it gets you left behind without warning, without explanation, without so much as a decent goodbye. It was Grace who taught me that lesson. A lesson that came like a bullet to the chest one sunny afternoon in the park where I thought I might propose, but instead got left sitting on a splintered bench staring at the spot where she just walked away. She didn't shout. She didn't cry. She didn't even look guilty. She just told me I wasn't husband material, that we were just friends, and walked away like the 3 years we spent together meant nothing. She didn't flinch. She didn't waver. She just left me there in silence with my plans, my heart, and my dignity crushed into the wooden grain of that weathered bench in Zilker Park. I met Grace at a mutual friend's birthday party. One of those backyard gatherings where everything feels a bit unplanned, but the laughter is real. She showed up wearing a jean jacket, her hair tied up, and a smile that could disarm the coldest soul. People noticed her. Hell, everyone noticed her. She had that kind of magnetic presence, the kind that drew you in without trying. And me? I was just the quiet guy standing near the cooler, trying to look like I belonged in a crowd that always seemed too loud for me. But somehow, she noticed me, and that was all it took. We clicked fast. First conversations turned into late-night texts. Late-night texts turned into breakfast dates, movie marathons, weekend road trips, and eventually a relationship that I thought had real depth. For 3 years, we built a life that felt beautiful from the outside. We cooked together, celebrated small wins, took photos that looked like they belonged on a magazine cover, and made the kind of memories that you tuck into the corners of your mind and call home. But in hindsight, I should have noticed the cracks. I should have seen the way she'd always deflect whenever I talked about the future, how she'd laugh off conversations about moving in, or say things like, "Let's not ruin this with pressure." I brushed it off because I believed in giving her time. I thought love was patient, so I waited. Until that Sunday in the park, when I finally spoke the words I'd been holding on to for months. Words about wanting a real future together, about taking the next step, about building something lasting. And her response? A cold, surgical cut straight to the soul. "Henry, look, I care about you, but we're just friends. You're not husband material for me. Just friends." After 3 years. Just like that, everything we'd shared was downgraded to casual companionship. I sat there frozen, numb, watching her stand up, brush off her jeans, say, "I hope you understand," and walk away without looking back. What followed wasn't just heartbreak. It was an identity crisis. I questioned everything. Was I too boring? Too predictable? Not ambitious enough? I stopped seeing friends, lost focus at work, stared blankly at my ceiling at 3 a.m., wondering what she saw in me that made her decide I wasn't enough. I wasn't angry at first, just hollow. But grief has stages, and eventually, that hollow space filled with determination. I wasn't going to let her be right. I wasn't going to let not husband material be the final line of my story. I poured myself into my work. I was already a graphic designer, but I started expanding my skill set, motion graphics, digital marketing, branding strategy, social media optimization. I took courses, found mentors, and started sharing my work online. That's when I discovered TikTok, not just as a platform for teenagers doing dances, but as a goldmine for creators with real skill. I started posting behind-the-scenes edits, freelancing tips, case studies of my clients' transformations. Slowly, it picked up. Followers turned into clients. Clients turned into agencies. Agencies brought in sponsors. Brand deals came. Money came. Within 2 years, I wasn't just doing well. I was doing better than I'd ever imagined. I paid off my loans, bought a downtown apartment, upgraded my wardrobe, and purchased a sleek, all-black Tesla that felt like a trophy for every time I'd been told I wasn't enough. I stopped needing validation. I stopped waiting for apologies. I moved on, or at least I thought I had, until one random weeknight, my phone buzzed with a message that froze my hands over the keyboard. "Hey, is this Henry? I saw you on TikTok. Wow, you've done really well for yourself. Would you be open to catching up? Coffee sometime?" No name, but I knew immediately. It was her. Grace. The same Grace who had vanished without a word. Now, suddenly, 3 years later, she wanted to catch up. My first instinct was to delete the message. But then I thought, no, this isn't just a message. This is closure. And I get to write the ending this time. So I replied, "Sure, tomorrow, 5 p.m., cafe on Main Street." She responded in seconds. "Perfect. Looking forward to it." The next day, I showed up early. Sat in my car, watching the entrance of that cafe where we used to go when we were happy. Back when I thought her smiles meant forever. I was calm. Not nervous. Not vengeful. Just ready. I ordered an iced coffee, sat by the window, and waited. 10 minutes later, she walked in. She looked almost the same. Beautiful, composed. But there was a subtle weariness in her eyes that I'd never noticed before. Maybe life had been a little less kind to her than she'd expected. She spotted me, smiled, and walked over. "Henry, wow," she said, breathlessly. "You look amazing." I nodded politely. "Yeah, life's been good." We Saturday. The first few minutes were tense. She stirred her drink more than she sipped it, glanced around the room like she was avoiding eye contact, until she finally said, "I've seen your TikToks. I can't believe how far you've come. It's inspiring. Honestly." "Thanks," I replied. "I always knew you were talented," she said, smiling. "I guess I just didn't realize how far you'd take it." There was a long pause. Then she leaned forward, a little more vulnerable this time. "Henry, I've been thinking a lot about us. About the way I left things. I made a mistake. A big one. You were always good to me. I didn't appreciate that. I didn't appreciate you. And I've regretted it ever since." I sat back in my chair, letting her words linger between us before I asked, "So what are you hoping for, Grace?" She looked me in the eyes. "I'd like to try again, if you'd be open to that. I miss you. I miss what we had." And that's when I knew. She didn't come back for me. She came back for the version of me I had become without her. She came back because she saw success, not because she saw me. I took a sip of my coffee, looked straight at her and said, "Grace, do you remember what you told me at Zilker Park?" She froze. "Yeah, I was stupid. I was scared. You told me I wasn't husband material, that we were just friends. After 3 years together. And then you vanished. No calls. No explanations. You just walked away like I meant nothing." She blinked fast, her eyes already glossy. "Henry, I didn't know how to say goodbye. I was confused. I raised my hand, silencing her. "And now, after all this time, after blocking me, after watching me disappear from your life completely, you're here because you saw a video online. Because I'm finally worth something. Not as a person, but as a brand." "No, it's not like that," she whispered. I leaned closer, locked eyes with her, and said the same words she gave me years ago. "I hope you understand." Her face crumpled. Her mouth opened to say something, but nothing came. Just silence. And then a tear. And then another. She looked down, shoulders hunched, quietly crying into her cup as I stood up, picked up my keys, and walked away. I didn't look back. I didn't need to, because for the first time in years, I felt whole. Not because I'd hurt her, but because I'd finally healed me. Thanks for watching till the end. If you've ever been left behind and still rose again, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and stick around for more stories that turn brokenness into power.